Yummy. Hello guys and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we are taking a look at Yummy, the newest archetype to come to Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, or one of them I should say. And yeah, this is likely to be a very top tier deck, and I'm going to show you real quick some of the things that this deck can do. I'm going to show you a combo and just give you a general vibe as to how this deck functions. Now, it's a pretty simple deck in terms of combo, but what it doesn't do in combo, it accomplishes with two things. One, the sheer ability to play other engines. As you can see, there's a myriad of different things that you can play. You can play it with the Mitsu stuff. You can play it with SnowiKs, which, by the way, we're getting the new SnowiKs stuff. You can play it with the Striker stuff. You can play it with a myriad of different things. Just basically anything and everything under the sun is capable to be played with Mitsu, or with Yummy, due to the fact that Yummy only needs a Link 1. And there's like 9,000 ways to get to a guy. So it's pretty easy overall to facilitate a Yummy combo in tandem with whatever else you were doing. On top of that, the second thing that it does really well is it interacts with the, or more specifically, it like generates advantage off of the opponent's interactions. So while the combo itself is pretty baseline, the actual end board is a myriad of different things facilitated by you. However you elect to utilize those interactions can change the dynamic of the game very drastically. Similar in nature to the way that Draco Tail kind of functions, but for the most part, it is all of those very unique different strategies and playstyles. So I'm going to quickly show you how the combo works and then just explain some of the other things. Okay, so here we need a Yummy, or more specifically Cupsy. Cupsy happens to be the best of the Yummies to start with, and then any discard. I did happen to draw the other field spell, which is very useful, but it's not like terribly needed. So we're just going to use that as a discard. So it's basically a 1.5 card combo. As long as you have that additional card to discard, you could do this entire line. So we're going to start off here with the Yummy Cupsy, which then activates to search out a Yummy card. We're going to search out the Surprise. From here, we can go into our Link 1, the Snatchy, which, by the way, this card is limited to 2. It doesn't matter. Most people play it at 2 anyway, so there's that. But we do get to immediately place a field spell. So we're going to place the Mignon. This is why the other field spell doesn't matter. Mignon has the effects to reborn our other Yummy, so we're going to reborn the Cupsy here, and then we are going to synchro summon into our Cookie Way, I believe is the one that this one is called, right? Yep. Oh, sorry, Cupsy Yummy Way. It's the way one. We're going to activate this, which searches out two Yummies, right? We're going to search Marshmallow, and I'm going to search out, I don't think it matters too much. These have like different effects based on if they're summoned off of synchro monsters, so that's pretty nice. Cookie is probably the best one here. This one's also like fairly decent, right? But I'm going to grab Cookie here. Again, it doesn't really matter too much. But here we discard. So we're going to discard the card. Just the random card happened to be the field spell here. And from this position, we are going to activate our Quick Play. We're going to special summon it from the grave. It also has a secondary effect where you can return a field spell from your face-up field or grave, and then place a Yummy field spell from your deck. That's cool, but it also has the ability to target 2 of your light beasts you control and 2 cards your opponent controls and bounce them. Mostly it's going to be used for the first 2 effects, but it does have that like recyclability effect as well. So pretty solid card overall. We're gonna summon out our Yummy, or Cupsy Yummy, and then from here we can special summon it the Marshmeow, which then has the ability to add back that Surprise back to our hand, which we can then use later on. Notably, you can only activate one of those effects, but you can activate all of them each turn. So for example, here, if I wanted to, I would be able to place that field spell back into the deck, or I could bounce my opponent's cards. Very powerful. Which is also one of the reasons why this deck is playable even going second. You can like use the Surprise in addition to all of the other shenanigans you get to do as removal. And then on top of that, these guys are very large due to the field spell. So there's that. From here, we can go into our Martial Metal Marcher, and we can use its effect in order to bring back that Tuner Synchro monster, which we can then utilize for a Snatchy later. However, first and foremost, we're going to go into Herald. Yay! This card's limited, but guess what? You only need the one. And on top of that, with this card in particular, you can actually send it to the graveyard to then search out your Ritual Slop stuff. So for example, your Mitsurugi cards, which means that you still have the ability to do all of the Mitsu stuff on top of all of the Yummy stuff. And they do have that like incidental synergy, right? Which is pretty cool. However, from here, we can actually just link off into our Snatchy and then this is basically the entire combo. I'm going to summon out the cookie here so that I have the ability to synchro on the opponent's turn, the Snatchy allowing us to do that, and then we're also going to set the surprise. That's what it's called. This is, all in all, not a ton, in theory. In practice, it's actually a whole myriad of different things. Because of the way that the Snatchy card, or because of the way that the Yummy cards work, Snatchy allows you to Synchro Summon on the opponent's turn, and with the Synchro Summon, you can then interact with the opponent. If they do a thing, you get to bring back guys. Those guys can then disrupt the opponent, negating or destroying or whatever it may be. On top of that, you also have the ability to use your bounce. Here with Surprise, you have the Floodgate and Negate effect of the Herald, which is all very powerful. And then on top of that, because of the nature of, again, the synchro monsters of the Yummy cards, you can add additional, additional follow-up for the following turn to basically do another combo on top of that. So again, the combo is pretty simple. Just search out the guys, summon out Herald, go from there. But the actual interactions are where this deck becomes very layered. Okay, now let's actually talk about what this deck does, or more specifically, all of the myriad of things that it can do. As you can see, I have a whole bunch of different engines in here. Notably, I think that the Striker engine is basically non-negotiable. It just allows you the easiest access to a Link 1. If you're playing the Yummy stuff, I'm gonna get these very confused. If you're playing any of the Yummy stuff, all of the Sky Striker stuff is very useful due to the fact that you just search out Hornet Drones, and that's an immediate Link 1. That also gets you an additional guy as well, which is also very solid. On top of that, because of the way that the Synchro monsters work, you can actually just Synchro Summon them with the level 1 tuner that is given to you off of Hornet Drones. So yeah, you can also just like make Cupsy Yummy Way with a singular Hornet Drones. So yeah, that's pretty good. On top of that, you have a bunch of other things. You have the Sulfur stuff, which, again, because of the fact that this is level 1, and they make Link 1s, or at least can make Link 1s, in tandem with all of the other stuff that the Sulfur stuff can do, you also get access to your entire Cupsy combo. Or Yummy combo, right? And then you have the Mitsu stuff, which also doesn't have any sort of restrictions on it, allowing you the ability to utilize the powerful Mitsurugi end board in tandem with the powerful end board of the Yummy stuff. Not to mention, if you cut any of these engines, which is very easy to do, here's a whole bunch of non-engine you get to play. Purge. Yeah, you can play Purge for some reason. All of these monsters are light, so if you wanted to, in tandem with the Sulfur or in tandem with just like Sky Striker stuff, you can play Purge, you can play a whole bunch of other things as well. You can play the Nibiru, you can play Droll, you can play Ghost Bell, you can play Ash, you can play whatever other hand traps you want to play, or other non-engine, making it very, very powerful as a way to just kind of hand trap your opponent, one card combo. That's the general gist of the way that Yummy plays. And if you don't enjoy that, this may not be a deck for you, that's fine. But overall, it is a very powerful deck, so maybe you would consider playing it just due to the fact that it is very powerful. Overall, I think it is an interesting deck, and it has a lot of interesting builds that you can utilize with it. I'm very excited to experiment with the Sulfur stuff in tandem with the Yummy stuff, but overall, a very interesting idea, and honestly, these guys are adorable. I mean, look at them. It's a cookie jacket cat. What do you want from me? It's adorable. I'm gonna play this deck because it's cute. That's gonna be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope that you guys did enjoy. If you did, I like it very much. So appreciate it. And remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.